Morning, everybody. Welcome to my channel. 8:14 a.m. It is June 1st. June 1st. Now, this market is wacky. Okay, very wacky. Crude is back up to $90 a barrel, and a very odd under the hood this morning. We're going to get into some of that today. Okay, it's very odd what's going on right now. All right, and let's just get right into it. All right, welcome to my channel. My name is Steven Gonzalez. I use market profile and volume profile to find structure in the market, along with supply and demand, gamma exposure levels, the most traded price of the year, the month, the week, and the previous day. That is my edge. That's how I come up with game plans. Now, once that market opens up, I use my market internals to show me what's driving the market off the open, right? Along with ICT, little smart money, my gamma flip points that I give for free, and my weekly expected move indicator for free, along with Anchor VWAPs. It's my own proprietary system. Okay, now every morning I do this. Subscribe, set that alert. All right, give you the market story, economic calendar, news. All right, technical analysis, and I always give you the long and short trade scenarios and Nasdaq and ES futures later on in the stream. If you want more in-depth coverage, you are going to join my Discord. That is Confluence Trading. Go to my YouTube homepage, click on the link, and sign up. What are you waiting for? Let me be your indicator. Let's get right into the futures watch list here. Okay. Give me 1 second. Alrighty. So, looking at this, crude is up 3.43%. VIX is up 3.33%. Dow is up 0.31. 10-year yield up 0.25. ES up 0.17. Dollars up 0.16. 30-year bonds slightly being bought up 0.08. Nasdaq's up 0.07. Silver is down 0.16. Russell down 0.28. Gold down 1.28. Ethereum down 2%. Bitcoin's down over 2%. Bitcoin just can't get out of its own way. All right, Mag 7 Plus. Well, look what we have here. Microsoft. So, news coming out. NVDA is coming out with these super chips that are going to be put into PCs with Microsoft. Okay? That's software is getting love today. Okay? So, Microsoft, with that partnership with NVIDIA, is up 2.21%. Microsoft up 3.68%. Okay? Broadcom reports earnings this week, up 2%. Meta's up 0.43. Lagging, we have Apple down 0.5%, GE down 0.63, Google down 0.72, Amazon down 0.84, Caterpillar down 0.90, Tesla's down 1.43%, AMD down 3.82, Coinbase down almost 4%, the Bitcoin proxy. Now, AMD in some semis are getting profit taking because the NVIDIA is a little threat. That news with that super chip is a little threat to Qualcomm, to other semis. So it's very odd this morning. We'll get into the sectors in a second, okay? Moving on to top sectors. Remember I said software is getting love today. Salesforce up 5.55%. Micron continues to push, okay? It's at 1,000. It broke the $1,000 barrier. Up 3.60. So memory this morning, stocks are getting the love and semis are not. Software again, right? It's Palantir up 3%. Oracle up 2.60. Uber up 1.73. All right. Who's lagging here? Boeing down 0.64. GE Vernova down 0.65. NEM, the mining stock, down 1.83. And Qualcomm down 8.69%. Qualcomm has just been ripping and pulling back. It's kind of nuts. Okay. Sectors. This is where it gets weird. Technology is up 0.87, right? I just reweighted. They're almost at 39% of the market cap weight. Energy up 0.64. So energy and technology are together. That is weird. All right. Now, the other weird part is look at the laggard. Semiconductors. Okay. Semiconductors is the laggard. Even though NVIDIA and Micron are up. Because it's split. NVIDIA has the positive news. Micron's been friggin' on fire. And it's weird. This is going to make a weird market today. Okay. Who else is down? Industrials, financials, and discretionary. Okay, that's your Tesla. So very weird. All right, let's move on. Checking out the calendar here. All right, so what do we have? Today we have ISM manufacturing PMI and ISM manufacturing employment at 10 a.m. Let me put the alarm on my phone because I didn't do that. Always like to put an alarm on my phone to let me know, oh, wait a minute, news coming out. News coming out. Okay. Now, what else we have this week? Fed Kashkari, Dodge Jobs, Wednesday, ISM, more ISM. Thursday, initial jobless claims. But Friday is really what everybody cares about, non-farm payrolls and unemployment. Non-farm payrolls and unemployment. Now, on the earnings front, this is where earnings come in. Okay. Victoria's Secret we have, Palo Alto, cybersecurity, Ulta Beauty. There's some retail there. Now, all we really care, Macy's, is Viva. That's a tech for medical. CrowdStrike, cybersecurity. Broadcom. That's a semi, and that's a big one. It's heavily weighted. So Broadcom. Okay, that's really all it's about this week in Lululemon down in Planet Labs, it looks like. Okay, go back to here. All right, let's look at Trump's schedule, which he can say anything. Obviously, there were strikes between Iran and U.S. again, which crude's up. All right, let's see President today. I don't really see anything here. Let's get into, let's see if there's any news just came off the wire. I don't really see anything here. Now, the one thing I was talking about earlier is this. Okay. Right here. All right. Away from the war, shares of chip making groups Intel, Advanced Micro Devices, that's AMD, and Qualcomm retreated in pre-market trading after NVIDIA unveiled a new processor for Microsoft Windows operating platform, which will be used in a line of laptops and desktop PCs. The launch represents a potential new challenger in the market for AI PCs. Shares of software stocks, notably Microsoft, rallied. Okay, it says NVIDIA CEO Jensen Huang announced the new line of superchips, the RTX Spark, during a keynote address at the Computex conference in Taiwan on Monday. The RTX Spark will include NVIDIA new N1X processor, which is a custom processor made with Microsoft and designed by Taiwanese firm MediaTek. Okay, that is the news for NVIDIA. Okay, moving on. Let's refresh this. Let's get to some more news here. NVIDIA launches new chip. Just talked about that. U.S. takes steps to halt NVIDIA AI shipments to Chinese firms outside of China. Berkshire Hathaway to buy Taylor Morrison for $6.8 billion in cash. Global smartphone market faces record annual decline as chip crunch worsens. The global smartphone market is heading for the steepest annual contraction on record. That's also not going to help Qualcomm. Okay, even though they've just been ripping. Now, U.S. stock index futures rose as NVIDIA's latest AI push boosted investor sentiment. Despite lingering uncertainty over the Middle East conflict, NVIDIA introduced a new, and we just talked about that new chip. All right. Let's see here. Oil prices surged more than 3% as escalating Gulf tensions threatened the reopening of the Strait of Hormuz. Okay. Investors will now turn their attention to Friday's U.S. jobs report ahead of Kevin Warsh's first policy meeting as Federal Reserve Chair later this month. Just want to see if there's anything else in here. Dell had a monster week last week. Let's see here. Okay. Let's move on. Okay. Oh, Pancake. Whoa. Haven't seen you in a while. Or maybe you've been lurking and still watching, but I could say welcome back. Or now, what I want to get into, and it's not like I don't know this, right? Now, if I don't know if anyone's seen what I'm about to show you, but let's get into it. So, is this, you guys see my whole chart? You do. Okay. So this right here is called Core 3M. Notice we're at a low point, right? Let me we just go to a weekly. Maybe that will show better. 1 week. Okay. This is where how far this goes back. Okay. Look where we are. Okay. Look where we are. Let me change this. Same percent. Okay. We are at a low point. Okay. Good pancake. So core 3M. What does this show us? Okay. We're at a very low level. In core 3M, what it does, it measures the 50 largest market cap weighted stocks in our S&P 500 and shows you if they're working together or not. So the lower the number means that the stocks, the 50 largest market cap weighted stocks are working together. Well, guess what? They're not. They're at historic lows. Okay? Historic lows. Now, this is very apparent in our market. You can see it. Okay? Because there's bear markets and bull markets all over the place. So this shows us 50 stocks are not working together, and they're really not working together because it's at a low rating, right? A low rating. Let's go back to the daily chart real quick. Okay. That is falling. Okay. Now, add on top of this, we're going to do the dispersion index. Okay. And the dispersion index is at highs, right? Not as much as up here, 50s. This just came up, closed at 42. But basically, what is this telling us? Dispersion index, right? It's saying that the 500 stocks in the S&P 500, right? This is forward looking. It's saying in the next 30 days with the options market that basically individual stocks are doing so much of their own thing relative to the index. So the higher this number goes means that individual stocks are going wild. And the index is kind of calm. And you can see this, right? Like I'm saying, it's not that I don't know this, but to know that the dispersion index is at highs and the core 3M is at lows. It's a stock picker's market right now. Just like I showed you earlier, right? How NVDA is up, but the semiconductors ETF is down. Semiconductors are down and technology is up. It's all over the place. Energy is up and technology is up, right? Because what's happening in our market, right, is, and I can just show you this right here. I have a watch list here. I can show you. Give me 1 second. I'm going to put this watch list. Let's go to top sector stocks here. Okay, I'm going to show you this list, right? Okay, did I want to show you this one? Hold on. Give me 1 second here. Okay, just this list, right? ServiceNow is the dog, right? And I had this at $100, and I was gonna add to it at 88, and I was like, I don't know, let me see. Well, this is killing me right now. Okay, it's up to 134. Okay, software was in a SaaS apocalypse, right? They had their own bear market, and now it's ripping, right? And then put this in your list, DRAM. That's the memory stocks with Micron, SanDisk, Western Digital. Look at this, up 5% this morning. Okay, and now IGV is the software ETF, up 3.5%, right? Palo Alto, cybersecurity, right? But look at the MAGs is flat. That's the MAG 7. Now, who else is beginning love? Space stocks, right? They are down this morning. Rocket Labs, your ASTS, your Lunar, okay? Coinbase is just a Bitcoin proxy, and Hood is your had a monster week last week. It's pulling back because it is tied to Bitcoin, but it had its own story, right? What else has been getting love? Let's just say, oop, did I put that ticker in wrong? Like quantum computing. Let's see, that's IonQ, I believe, right? Let's see that. There's probably an ETF that I'll probably add, but that's another pocket that got love, right? Because President Trump, the government's going to give money for quantum computing, space stocks with the SpaceX IPO coming, right? So all these pockets have been up, down, up, down, okay? So this market is nuts, okay? It's really nuts, and it's not sustainable. That doesn't mean you short, okay? That doesn't mean you short. It just means it's unsustainable. I just showed you that core 3M, that the top 50 market cap stocks are not working together at all at low levels, and the dispersion index is at highs, which means that the index, that's why you notice, right? Our markets, right? Our market, right? The S&P, let's look at this here internally, right? It really didn't do anything because the internals, look at the market cap, the equal weight was low. Market cap weight was high. Why? Because infotech and financials had low, but look at the rest of the market. This is your market internals recap. Let's get right into it, okay? So this means the market didn't go anywhere. Now, at the end of the day, I had a flat day. It sucked because I had a long somewhere here. I got stopped. But then I had two shorts in here. And I got this move. And I was like, okay, we're going to break this low. It didn't. It hit my break even, right? Then I shorted it again. And I think I had this move. And then I had this move. And I was like, you got to be kidding me. This did not break that low. Right? Break even again. Then it finally whipped up, and I was like, oh, it's going to break out because we had positive news. Then the market fell, hit my target where I would have been target. So the first short I had was at the stop at the high of day. Okay. And then I got long here, right around here, and it hit this trade. So end of the day turned out because I had a loss. And then, I got long here, I think. Somewhere in here, took a loss. So I was minus 2R, and then this was a plus 2R. So I had a flat day. Okay? But the markets didn't do anything. Really, it was in a range, right? But other names, monster days, down and up. Okay? Monster names. Okay? So, let's move on. Let's move on. Dailies. And there's not much to really talk about. There really isn't. Okay? So we're going to get into this. Can't believe Puncake's here. All right, so all-time highs, right? Where are we now? 757. And of course, it's Monday. We're in the middle of the range. Horrible. Horrible. All right? Let's just go to QQQ. Right? Look, Doji Day on Friday. Remember, like I said, the dispersion, right? So, Doji Day, where are we now? 739s in the middle. Horrible. Horrible trade location. Okay, now real quick, we look at the breadth. The breadth got weaker. We made all-time highs, and the overall breadth of the market got weaker. 52% of stocks are over the 50-day moving average. That's middling. That doesn't mean anything. Okay? This market is very weird. Like I said, that's that dispersion index. Okay? Individual stocks are doing their own thing so much, and the index is basically not doing as much. We're going up, but it's not rocketing, right? Moving on. Hourly charts now. All right, let's look at this together. Let's see here. All right, so let me get my marker out. All right, so Friday, look at this price action. Horrible. When you have one-hander candlesticks doing that with no really structure to them, it's going to be choppy. Okay? And you can just see whenever I have these stacked demands like this, major demand, right? Major demand here. This is not going to be easy to chop through it. And you have another base here. This will not be easy as well. So I'm not looking to see rips through the market. Now we are pulling back a little bit. You do have a little poor structure here. We could find ourselves here. Okay? But this, my friends, is a lot of trading. To get through that, there's something needs to happen. Money flows need to come out of the market. It's just a very weird market. Okay? Very weird. Let's look at a profile here. And we can go from just this candle here. Let's see the volume here. See the value area? Right? So this is a lot of volume to go through. So your 75.95s, let's call it, most traded price of last Friday. Okay, this is not easy to cut through. Okay, not easy at all. All right, you don't have a lot of poor structure. So let's move on to the NASDAQ. The NASDAQ's actually relatively a little tiny bit weaker. You can see in the price structure, right? Notice the ES is doing this, and see the NASDAQ is pulled back deeper. Okay, remember semis are negative. Technology is positive. The DRAM ETF is positive. The IGV software ETF is positive, right? We just broke these lows. Now into a demand, right? Now look at this buying coming in. So you have supply up here, okay? You have a bearish FEG here. You have a little more structure here. Now you just cleaned up this. So this probably has room to go higher now. We'll have to see. This market is absolutely nuts. Stock pickers market, meaning individual stocks are moving, having their own story, and the SPX, our S&P 500, is kind of just melting up. It's not like the individual stocks. It's not sustainable. Okay, it's just not. Moving on. Market profile, volume profile, coming at you. Okay. Let's get into the market profile, volume profile here. All right. Now, right now, you got a bullish imbalance to this profile in the overnights. Okay? You do have very thin volume here. Okay? That's what I'm noticing off the bat. A lot of stack demand here. All-time high is an overnight high. That's genuinely not secure. Usually all-time highs are made in regular trading hours. Okay? Let's get into the ES long and short trade scenarios now. And we're going to break this out. Okay. So the NASDAQ took care of this little bit of a poor structure here. The ES did not. The ES did not. Okay. So remember the 75.95s, that's the most traded price of Friday. It's a mini bull bear line. Lot of stacked demand. Okay, the momentum is with the bulls. We are going to see a nasty day one day. We don't know the timing of that. All right, let's get into longs. Very clear to see here. Okay, very clear. Now, 75.95. There's a lot of confluence here, hence my name, Confluence Trading, of my trading community, right? What would I like to see? Well, we're at last week's highs, which is last month's highs now. Okay, and what you're going to see here is I like to see a pullback to 75.95. Which what is that going to be? Most traded price of the rolling week. Friday's most traded price, Friday's close, and the 50% retracement of Friday's range. It's a lot of confluence. Okay, if this holds, and retests it, okay, with a higher low, you're going to target the all-time highs, the overnight highs, 76.23s. Okay, 76.23s. Now, I would say if we pulled back even quicker, broke the 75.95 as the most traded price, okay, there's stacked demand here. Even if you take out the overnight lows and tap the Friday's lows, 75, 77s, okay, I just want to see if the 75, 72s can hold. If this is quick and you get a little V-bottom recovery and a higher low, you go long, target 75.95 and see if you could tap the 76.23s. Okay, that's your longs. Shorts. Not easy to do shorts. Just not. Honestly, I'd want to see all of this demand taken out for me to be like, yeah. I mean, meaning that I can get a meaningful short. Okay? So, first thing I'd want, and I'm not sure if this could happen, I'd want to take all this demand out, however it does it, and then you get a retest of the 75.95s, right? And then you can short 75.95 seeking the 75.40s. Okay? Seeking the 75.40s. Can there be a short here? Yes. Okay, so what would happen for that is a push up, break the overnight highs, make real-time trading hour all-time highs, come back into the overnight range with a lower high. Now you target 75.95, try to hold a runner to take out Friday's lows, 75.77s. Okay? That's all for the ES. NASDAQ. All right, let's get into the NASDAQ long and short trade scenarios. And I got to get out of here. Got to take my daughter to the bus. So let's break out the range here. Okay, remember, there's supply overhead supply, and there's poor structure to the upside. In the NASDAQ, a little different structure. Okay, a little different. Now, we do have 304s is your most traded price. So this level, like the 75.95s and ES, 304s is your most traded price of last Friday. It's Friday's close. It's the 50% retracement of Friday's range. Also a demand. That's going to be pivotal. So let's get into scenarios here. So what could you see here? Okay, what could you see? Okay, now again, overnight highs is all-time highs right now. That's not generally secure. So pull back to the 304 area, right? Bunch of stacked demand here. You get some buying, and you get a higher low at the 304s. You go long. You target the 305.95s, the overnight highs, and see if you can ride into the sunset to go higher. Again, just like the ES, any pullbacks in these demands are pretty much viable. I would like a fast one. If we did this pretty quickly into here, you take out the overnight highs, take out Friday's lows, 302.69s, come back into the range. Okay, let maybe even say the 303s, get long here, have a little target at 304s, and try to take out 305.95s. Okay, so below the 302.16s, I'd be a little on caution for longs. Shorts. Now there is supply here. Okay, so what could happen here is drive up into this area, push, make new all-time highs, come back into range, a lower high. Now you target the 304s, target the Friday lows, 302.69s. And now if you take that out and you start to find acceptance here, you have poor structure here. You can rip all the way down to the 30,000s. Okay, that can happen up here. Now, if we start working down here, like I said in the ES, you want to see all that demand taken out. And then if you retest the 304s, that could be the short to take out all this. So either way it can happen. That's the scenarios for today. Okay? Smash the like button if you enjoy that analysis. Okay? Now, overall outlook real quick. ES, the 75.95s is the level to look at. 304 is the level to look at in the NASDAQ. Okay? Favor longs today. Favor longs today, just like every day, unless something happens in news otherwise, right? Remember, this market is very disjointed. The dispersion index I was talking about, it's very weird of a market. The actual S&P is not expected to have heavy volatility as opposed to individual stocks. Okay? Great. All right. Everybody, that will be it for me today. Remember to join me, subscribe, set an alert for every morning. Give you the market story, technical analysis. Just gave you the long and short trade scenarios in the NASDAQ and the ES futures. And of course, you want more in-depth coverage, you're going to join my Discord. That's Confluence Trading. Go to my YouTube homepage, click on the link, and sign up. What are you waiting for? Let me be your indicator. Okay? Pancake, I trade everything. Stocks, futures, everything. Okay? Now, everybody have a great day. We have a plan. All right? So, remember, no trade's a trade. And if you want, join my Discord. If not,